Welcome to The Creative Influencer, where we discuss all things creative with an emphasis on influencers. The Creative Influencer is hosted by John Pfeiffer. John is an entertainment attorney in Santa Monica, California, who represents influencers and other creatives.
This is Minisode 10. Today's email comes from Wendy. The subject is, did YouTube cross the creepy line? So Wendy starts, Dear John, I'm the mother of two little girls, ages 7 and 9. They love YouTube. There are certain videos they'll watch over and over and over. They especially like the unboxing videos of toys and dolls. And here's my question. I saw a headline recently about Google tracking children's activity on YouTube. It seems creepy to me that some company might want to know what my girls are watching. Do you know anything about this? Thanks, Wendy. Well, Wendy, this is going to be one of those cases where it's not great news, not terrible news, just okay news. So by way of background, last year a coalition of over 20 privacy groups and child advocacy groups filed a complaint with the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, alleging that YouTube was collecting data on children younger than 13. And that in and of itself is creepy, but why it is a legal problem is because if it's true, it would violate COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. And COPPA says that companies can't collect data on children younger than 13. So now let's take a step back away from COPPA and look at the other part of the equation, which is YouTube's terms of service. The terms of service say that you shouldn't use the service, and that's a capitalized term in their terms of service, which it means it's defined, and that you shouldn't use the service if you're under 13. And here, that means you shouldn't use YouTube if you're under 13. Never mind the fact that one of the highest paid YouTubers is 8 years old. But the terms of service also say that you have to be 18 or have your parents' permission to have a YouTube account. So here's how this works. I ask you, Wendy, as the mother of a 9-year-old, whether your daughter is going to read the terms of service and find out she shouldn't be watching YouTube. My guess is you haven't read them, and you're the parent, and the only reason I've read the terms is that's my job. So let's see how this works. When you're on YouTube, whether you're signed in or not as a user, Google tracks and stores information about the person watching the video. This is through a combination of cookies, app analytics, IP tracking, and they know what your daughter is searching and watching. And that's if she's not signed in. If she's signed in, YouTube knows what ads she skipped, what ads she's watched, as well as every video she's watched. And they do this so they can sell ads to advertisers that are targeted to a particular demographic. So back to our initial question. COPPA says companies can't collect data on users under 13. YouTube deflects this by saying our terms of use don't allow it, and we have a kids app. Now, the reason you're probably seeing this in the news now is because Google just reached a settlement with the FTC on this exact issue, the details which were not disclosed to the public. Also, in response, the FTC is floating the prospect of removing and disallowing all ads from content geared toward children. To say this would be a big impact on monetization for YouTubers is an understatement. It'd be catastrophic for a lot of YouTubers. So what's the solution today? As a parent, you have to be proactive. Your daughters should use the kids app only. And you should delete the, and I put it in quotes, real app from their phone or tablet. Also, you have to take the time to set up the parental controls on the kids app. It's going to take some time. I know this because I just set one up to answer your question. But it's going to be worth it because it's going to protect your daughter's privacy. So as for anything related to the internet, and to paraphrase an old cop show, let's be safe out there.
That's it for this time. If you enjoyed our podcast, please write a review on iTunes and tell your friends to subscribe. If you have any questions about influencers or suggestions for future episodes, email them to John at Pfeiffer@pfeifferlaw.com. Thank you for listening.